Hey, what's up YouTube? This is We All Juggle Knives with another knife review. This is a knife from Russia, the Dombay by RosArms. It's got a stacked leather handle and you see the lanyard hole there. It's a very smooth and comfortable handle. You know, for prolonged use, I could see this being used as a hunting knife, meaning a skinning knife. Oh, by the way, later in this video, there's going to be some fried chicken, okay? I did some food preparation with this knife, so if you're not into that, you've been warned. Don't watch this video. Alright, so Dombay, I've been told that is an extinct Russian bison. Alright, so that's pretty cool. The blade length on this, 5 1/4 inches. You can see it is a classic clip point blade. Now the steel on this, it is a steel I have never heard of before. It's 110x18. From what I looked up, they say it is a high chromium stainless tool steel. So I have no idea what that steel is about except for my experience with this particular knife. I do have some usage footage coming up later in the video. I have to say, this is a gorgeous knife. I mean, normally with fixed blades, I would say they're meant to be used. But you know what? I really wouldn't blame you if you bought this to collect it, you know? Now, I plan to do both. I'm a collector and a user. I'm just saying, this thing is freaking beautiful. I mean, just look at the curve of that clipped out section. Would make a wicked piercing implement, too. I say piercing because piercing is what a knife blade does. Stabbing is what a person does. Alright, here's a size comparison with a USMC K-bar. So you see, as far as fixed blades go, this would be categorized as a mid-sized fixed blade. Here it is next to the Hella Harding knife from Norway. The construction of these knives is very similar. These are both extremely lightweight knives, even for their length and size. And that is because the tangs on these knives are fairly narrow. Alright, so these are not the type of knives that you want to do really hard batoning through hard wood with. But they give you great efficiency because they're so light. Here is some usage footage, making shavings. As I said, you wouldn't want to do really hard batoning with a knife like this. It's not really long enough anyway. But you also wouldn't want to, let's say, try to chop down a really hardwood tree. Again, it's not long enough anyway, but it's got a narrow tang. But as far as things like slicing through your lunch or an animal you just hunted, processing game, it would be great for that. Like I said, it's very lightweight. It's very easy to carry. And, you know, since you're going to keep it super sharp anyway, as a skinning or food prep knife, it's also quite good at making shavings to, you know, get your ferro rod and get your fire started. Some of those shavings, they're like paper thin. This knife came fairly sharp. It did have a little bit of a burr, which is a small amount of metal overhanging an edge. Not that not enough that you can see it with your eye, but if you run your fingertip across it, you can often feel a burr on some knives. So I just went ahead and removed that burr before use. It was very sharp. It could have been a bit sharper, basically if they had made the edge more fine and less broad. But it still came well sharp enough to slice through organic matter, which I think is the main purpose of this knife. If you put this in someone's kitchen, it would probably be by far the sharpest knife in their kitchen because most people don't know how to resharpen their kitchen cutlery. Alright, so I would give it an A, but not an A+ for sharpness. The blade shape of this knife makes it essentially a slicing machine, and given how comfortable the handle is and how light and easy to carry the knife is, it would make an excellent hunting knife or skinning knife, or just like a camp knife. You would want to pair it up with a chopper because, like I said, this is a slicing machine. If you pair it up with a camp hatchet, you have a chopper and the slicer. You're well on your way to your toolbox of cutting needs. All right, so there's my pile of shavings, showing how thin some of them are. As you can see from that other pile, a lot of shavings were made this day with several different knives. Yeah, but some of the shavings were like tracing paper thin, which speaks well of the knife and the edge of the knife. It's hard to say what a fair price for this knife would be because I don't know how much it costs if you went to Russia and you bought it there. I imagine it's a lot less expensive if you buy it closer to the source. Here's the sheath that it came with. It's just a bare bones leather sheath. It's got a belt loop. It's got a retaining strap that it holds it in securely. All right, horizontal retaining strap. And it's a pretty bare bones, minimalist, fairly cheap looking sheath. And I'm sure they were just, trying to keep the price down, but that's a sheath that you get. Coming at you, food preparation. Yes, it basically glides right through organic matter, kind of lightsabers through. There I'm just cracking through the ribs there, and it did well at that too. Yeah, this thing, I wanted to show it going through some organic matter because it's a hunting knife. But whether you're cutting up a deer or you bought some food from the grocery store and you brought it for a camp out or a cookout, this thing would be great for preparing food. There is the chicken. Here it is with some breading. Yes, we are going to fry some chicken. It's not healthy. I never said it was, dude. Definitely, do this in moderation. Don't do this every day. Okay, so there it is. Frying up to a nice golden brown. Are you hungry yet? Yeah, it's not my job to make you healthy, but it is kind of my job to make you hungry, or at least be entertaining. Yeah, that stuff was good. Now, you might see this in another video too, because as you can see, there's more than 2 wings there, and it was not a mutant chicken. I cut up 2 small chickens on this day. The other one I cut up with my CFK mini parang. All right, so stay tuned for that. But final thoughts on this Dombay, the Russian bison. I really like it. How can you not like that blade shape? That is classic, gorgeous blade shape, very functional. Like I said, it's a slicing machine, comfortable handle, lightweight knife. It's just a handy knife. In fact, I liked this knife enough that I am going to try more knives from Russia and more knives from this company. I already have some that I have my eye on. I try one first, if it's a new knife or a company I haven't tried, I try one first, right? And then maybe I go for some of their bigger or pricier models. If you are a fan of Hella Knives of Norway, or Kellum Knives, if you're familiar with that brand, yeah, if you like Hella and Kellum, you will like this knife because it's very similar both in construction and in quality. I hope you enjoyed seeing this blade. Check out those Amazon links. This has been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.